Is 1 minute and counting.
Hello.
Four, three, two, one.
Hello everybody. How you all doing? Hello out there, and welcome to yet another Flyer Magazine live stream. And tonight we've got a massively packed show. If we can make it in 30 minutes, I think we'll be doing really, really well. So first up, we got Simon Keeling, not with his weather, but he's got a quiz question first. He's going to put the quiz question up, and then while he's talking about the weather that we don't care about because we can't really go flying, you can all put the answer in the columns, in the comments, not the columns. What am I talking about? And then he'll do his promo and his live shirt stuff, and then we've got the news. It's packed full of news. I think we got at least 3 and maybe 4 CAA stories with a whole bunch of breaking news and stuff in there. So there's some good, bad, and ugly stuff in there as well. A whole load of other kind of news things. Fantasy Hangout, bit of a different one this week, Fantasy Hangout. So we wanted something that was not very traditional. So more paramotor than Piper kind of thing. So the kind of thing, Ed put it this way, he said, you want someone when they walk into the hangar to look at that in the corner and go, wow, that's just stunning. So something not really traditional. So stick your Fantasy Hangar suggestions in the comments and we'll laugh at them or not. Or we'll go,
that's
probably more like,
it's going to be wacky ways to fly, isn't it? That's the theme this week.
Wacky ways to fly, that's it. We won't laugh. We'll probably just go, I wish I'd thought of that. Wish I'd thought of that. Ed, as usual, thinks is going to win. Then we've got the usual what's cancelled, what's not, and by that time it's probably going to be 8:05 and we'll all have to go home and get our tea. So anyway, without anything else, let me hand over to Simon. And Simon, over to you.
Okay. Thanks, Ian. Yeah, well, it's that time of the week that you've been looking forward to. It's Simon's Weather-Wise. So here we go. This is my quiz for tonight. So you've got a few minutes to see if you can get this one right. A wind speed in a METAR is an average over what period of time? So is it instantaneous? Is it an average of 30 minutes? Or is it an average over 10 minutes? So wind speed in the METAR is an average over what period of time? Is it an instantaneous? Is it 30 minutes? Or is it 10 minutes? Get your answers in the comments now. Okay, on with the forecast.
No Googling.
Yeah, no Google. No, absolutely not. Mind you, I think you'll still find it quite tricky to find it through Google as well. Anyway, on with the forecast. I know some of you are lucky enough to be able to fly. So this is how things shape up then for this weekend. This is the chart for Friday. And the reason I've put this up is because actually it looks like probably the best day of the weekend. So if you are lucky enough to do it, we got some rain first thing across East Anglia and the southeast as that cold front goes through. It's a very, very weak feature though. So even on that, I don't think it's going to be too bad. Base is about 2,000 feet as it clears through. Behind it, we get some brighter skies coming in, broken clouds, some sunny spells, 1 or 2 showers affecting western coast and hills. Generally though, well scattered cloud, base is about 3,500 feet. The tops going up at about 10 to 12,000. So nothing too bad at all really for Friday, just a bit breezy with that southwesterly. For Saturday, well, it's looking pretty yucky. Fronts going eastwards during the course of Saturday, taking outbreaks of rain with them. Some of that rain is going to be heavy, particularly western parts of Scotland. Murk and drizzle affecting western and southern coasts of England and Wales. If you don't have the Mr. Murk, you're going to have the wind. So basically for Saturday, not a great day. It's a brownie point day, really. And then for Sunday, a little bit better. Low pressure off towards the northern parts of Scotland on Sunday. It's another showery day. Heavy showers affecting western coasts and hills again. So I think generally non-VFR across many western areas, but eastern parts probably okay once we've seen the back of that morning rain again across East Anglia and the southeast. One thing to notice though is look at how close to the isobars are across Wales and southern parts of England. It becomes very, very windy as that front passes eastwards on Sunday afternoon. So I've got to be honest, I think unless you're in Scotland, perhaps northeast England, perhaps Northern Ireland, I don't think Sunday's a goer particularly either. So Friday is the day of the weekend. Right. Who got it correct then?
Me.
Go on.
Well, what have we got in the comments, Ed?
Just looking through. Paul Fraser Benison says 10 minutes. Mark Sanders says 10 minutes. Stuart Roos says answer C. Dan Smith says 10 minutes. 10 minutes is looking very popular, isn't it? Charlie Parker says the same. Jeremy Winder says available 30 minutes. John Park says average over 3 weeks.
I like that one. Yeah,
that's quite good.
It feels like that sometimes, doesn't it? Yeah.
Jonathan Smith says 10 minutes. So I'm going to guess 10 minutes.
Yeah, and you'd be absolutely correct. It's taken over 10 minutes, and gusts are if the winds have gusted greater than 10 knots over the mean speed in that 10 minutes as well. So 10 minutes is the key figure with that one. Well done, everybody who got it right.
There's another 10 in there, something to do with the wind direction as well. That's some kind of mean of the wind direction over the wind 10-minute thing. 10 degree thing.
As well. Yeah, and if it varies by, I think it's 60 degrees over the preceding 30 minutes, then we put in a variable. So, varying between 0 and 0 and whatever it might be. So, yeah, lots of different things in there. But 10 minutes is the key number with that one. Well done, everybody. You got it right. You've won nothing. I'm quite impressed.
What do they win, Simon?
They can go flying as of the 2nd of December. How about that?
Maybe.
Unless you're in Wales or Scotland.
Yeah, possibly. You may be able to go flying. Who knows? Well done. And of course, I better just say as well, I've got some spaces left on my Weather School Part 1. If you want to learn more about the weather, build your confidence in forecasting. I'm doing this one on the mornings of Sunday, the 6th and the 13th of September, because I had a few people ask if we do it on a Sunday morning. So it's on the 6th and 13th of December. I think I've got about 4 places left on that at the moment. So if you want to come along, go to weatherschool.co.uk and book your place now. I'll see you next week.
There you go. Thank you very much, Simon.
Thanks, Simon.
Thanks all. See you. Have a good week. Bye.
Bye. Dave.
Right.
Must be your turn. You must be on. News time.
Yeah, news time is packed this week. Absolutely packed. And in fact, we've got a rash of CAA stories. And that rash starts appropriately with the CAA doctor saying that pilots should not be applying for medicals during lockdown, because you're not supposed to go flying anyway, is the reasoning. It followed that up with saying that the CAA was going to monitor pilots who applied for a medical during lockdown, because they shouldn't really be doing that. Anyway, so that's a bit of a story. But literally this afternoon, there was an update, which I think, Ian, you have the most knowledge of, because you've been talking in secret to people secretly.
After the CAA went round and took away the gun from people who'd used it to shoot themselves in the foot with, they went, maybe the CAA acting as spies on people is not such a good look, and not really a good thing, and probably not a good thing between patients and doctors anyway. So what they really meant when they sent that letter out was, actually, we're going to leave it entirely down to the AME. They're kind of grown-ups, so they can use their judgment as to whether they should or shouldn't do the medical, and they should just bear in mind government policy and stuff like that. But we're going to leave it to the AMEs, and we're not going to spy on people at all, because we're not Big Brother here. No, definitely not. No, and no rashes or anything.
I have to say that it's pleasing to hear that, because I was beginning to wonder whether I might get charged for infringing if I dreamed about going flying during lockdown.
Yeah, clearly. Well, that you still get nobbled for that.
That's it. Yeah.
What's next then, Dave?
Right. Second CAA story. It might be CAA, it might be DFT, but apparently there's some more purple patches on the way. These are for royal flights. In the past, they've been called purple flights, and in the past they've been NOTAM when it's a fixed wing flight. But apparently they're now for helicopter flights as well. There was one on the 2nd of November from Sandringham to Windsor, but that's the only one I could find when I checked. But you have an important update, Ian.
I have an important update on this that's fresher than a fresh thing. So it's an important update on Royal Rat rashes on purple things, which is kind of anyway. So basically, this is while we're all happy to beat the CA around the head with a piece of 2x4 when they do something silly. This is very much not the CA. This is very much coming from the government, and for whatever reason, the notification for these rush of royal rats, will be late. So you won't get a NOTAM for it until just before it happens. And that's a bit of a pain, because if you take off, how are you supposed to find it? Now, the CA are going to apparently call around local airfields and tell them, which is great, because if you take off from Scotland and you're flying down, and you go, well, no one bloody phoned my airfield in Scotland, assuming that the royal rash, ridiculous thing takes place somewhere in the south of England, then you bust it, you're going to get nicked, because the CA policy, just culture policy, is that any infringement of a rat should be treated as a breach of the air navigation order. It's just bloody ridiculous. Have you not hidden the gun? I mean, maybe, no, okay, so it's not you, the CA, but maybe you should go and find the gun in the DFT or wherever it is. Make sure they don't shoot themselves in the foot. This is stupid. And where's the consultation? Huh? Come on, get it right. Jeez. Anyway, sorry. Next.
What we don't know, and they haven't confirmed or denied or anything, is maybe there's a heightened security risk apparent there. We don't know about that yet. Anyway, moving on, because we've got to move on. There's so much to cover.
That heightened security risk, yeah, absolutely.
Yes, that heightened security risk.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there is some licensing extensions ending. You remember when COVID came in, there was a bunch of exemptions for extending licenses and medicals. They're coming to an end on the 22nd of November. And it says here, Ian, that you have news about that as well.
I do. I've been plugged into the CA today. So apparently the CA decided that some blanket exemption is not really the best way for people to keep currency, which is, maybe the best way for them to keep warm or keep their license. But anyway, so they're not going to do blanket exemptions, partly because if you need to fly to do your hour, you can do it now. You can fly that stuff now. It's perfectly possible within the current guidance and the current rules to do that. So you can do that now. And if you can't, and you're really stuck for whatever reason, then the CA actually said, look, get in touch, give them a bell, and they'll see if they can sort you out on an individual case-by-case basis rather than issue a blanket exemption to anybody. So that's good news. Top marks. Bandage your feet, CA. Well done.
Was that a whisper in your ear or in writing, Ian?
Certainly wasn't in writing. I'm going to be like Laura how do you pronounce it? Laura Kunsberg?
Yes. Kunsberg.
A government source told me.
Right.
What's the name of that bloke? Liam Keynes or something that walked out of Downing Street yesterday? He's probably got another job working for the DFT and the CA.
But you know what his previous job was? He dressed up as a chicken when he was a reporter for the Daily Mirror and followed David Cameron around on the 2010 election. Anyway, that's nothing to do with aeroplanes. We must go back to aeroplanes. There's a new interim head of the GA unit, a woman called Sophie O'Sullivan, who's currently head of the Unmanned Aerial Systems unit, and she's going to run both side by side. And what a surprise! She's very big on electronic conspicuity, we're told. So possibly the right person at the right time. We hope.
Yeah, and this is just for 6 months, isn't it? Well, because Rachel
Gardner Poole
is off to space, but not forever. So
yeah,
you've forgotten her already.
I have. Yeah, sorry, Rachel.
I reckon we should run a book. Because I know she's on secondment to the space agency, but we should run a book as to whether she decides she likes space and carries on working there, or whether she comes back to the CA.
I hope she comes back because she's good.
I hope so too. But you never know. It's quite exciting, isn't it? Space and all that.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a line in a film once? In space, no one can hear you scream.
Anyway. There's some people in the CIA offices, I think, who probably wish that they operated in a vacuum.
Yes. Right, moving on. Did you see the story about the man who's got an electric-powered wingsuit? Apparently, BMW threw all their resources at this Austrian stunt pilot, and they've developed this electric power unit which hangs from his chest and allows him to go up as well as down, which is what most wingsuit pilots do. They spent a fortune on it, it seems. It's based on their electric car technology, which, of course, you know all about, Ian. But we won't go to that because it'll take too long.
Do you know how you can tell this was designed by BMW?
The blue and white stripes?
No,
No indicators?
it's got no indicators on it.
Looking at the guy's face, he doesn't look that happy, does he?
I don't know. Is he constipated, maybe? That looks pretty terrifying.
You moved lane without indicating.
Yes. But it looks like, it's an interesting product. You've got to say.
Yeah.
Okay, back grounded a bit more. Airability have started the grand auction for leading up to the Aviators Ball, and there's a fantastic array of prizes, and so you could bid for a signed Red Arrows flying suit if you really want a dirty used flying suit.
Does it come with a free Hawk jet?
Well, we were all wondering whether apparently it was used on their North American tour. We were wondering whether any dodgy, scary moments.
Hopefully none.
Hopefully not.
Hopefully none. What else are the prizes, Ian? You know a bit about this.
The best prize, really. I mean, I think there's things like Spitfire flights and worn, smelly flight suits and stuff like that. But the best prize, the main prize for the whole thing is that you can bid to come and be a guest on this very live stream. I mean, imagine that. I know, outstanding, isn't it? That's got to be worth at least £2.52, I think. Plus, you get membership of the Flyer Club. We all know that's £2.50 a month, £7.50 a quarter, payable in advance. Thank you very much. It's perfect. But being a guest on here would just be amazing, wouldn't it? I think, anyway.
Yes.
I am biased. I'd take that over a smelly Red Arrow flight suit, personally. But
but all the prizes are excellent. So start bidding.
They are, and more to the point, it's an amazing charity. So you really do need to support it. Whether you want, we won't judge you if you want the flight suit at all.
No, just might not come near you.
No, exactly.
Moving on with the news, there's lots to do still. Bendix King, remember them? They've actually had this. This is the Aero Cruise 230 autopilot, approved under a European STC. The real value of this is to people who've got the old Bendix King KFC 150 autopilot, because apparently this is a straight swap in, it gives a bunch of up-to-date features. The most important of which is that level button. You see that LVL button on the side there? That apparently gives you wings level instantly if you're in a pickle. So
not like the Garmin autopilot at all.
Nothing like that at all. No.
Two things about that. I mean, when you look at it, it's brand new and it's just certified and everything else. And I think it's really, really good that there's competition in the digital autopilot market. And we're going to talk about some more in a little while. I'm not entirely sure it screams a 2020 look or interface to me, but there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only kind of 2 levels up from that ping pong game, isn't it? By the look of it.
Ed, before we go on to the news, Ed, there's a guy called Herbie who's just given us an angry emoticon in our thing. Not a thumbs up, not a love, but an angry emoticon. Is there any reason for his anger in the comments, or is it just that he doesn't like us?
I don't know. I don't see anyone called Herbie in the comments.
Okay, Herbie, if you press that, let us know why. What have we done wrong? Or was it about something else? Anyway, sorry.
Do you work for the CIA?
Yeah. Are you a doctor at the CIA?
Are you holder of the foot guns?
or do you work at the DFT?
Right.
Do you have a purple rash?
Yeah, Leah Fay has a good point, and she said it took me a long time to figure out where the panic button was on that photo of the Bendix King autopilot. Which, to be fair, on the Garmin autopilot, it's a nice big blue button, isn't it?
Yep.
And touch screens are great, but having a moderately blue button over in the corner, possibly not as good as a big. Maybe they could have made the one emergency button an actual button.
Yeah. Yeah. But that said, it's great to have some competition, and if you've got an old KFC 150, then this seems to be like a good way to go. I'm not entirely sure if it's just a slide-in unit or if there's more that needs doing. But
Darren Wheeler says this new one is definitely a 2020 improvement compared to a KFC 150.
Yeah, and the KFC 150 makes the KAP 140 look positively pedestrian.
Herbie has come back with a reason for the angry button.
Yeah,
I mean,
go on, Ed.
most absurd, most unusual live stream comment potentially ever. Herbie says, "I'm in the bath. Inadvertent soap slip."
Fair enough, Herbie.
We salute you, Herbie.
Yeah,
yes.
You're not. Don't bid if you're going to come in the bath.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Let's move. Come on. Yes. In other avionics news, this is Denon. Denon have announced a panel for the Piper Seneca Twin. This is probably their most ambitious panel yet.
Is this Skyview HDX, isn't it?
That's it. Yep, certified version. Yep.
Yeah.
With an autopilot.
Yeah, they've slowly been trickling the HDX out with STCs for a whole bunch of airplanes. Not quite as big a list as Garmin, but they've been working on it slow and steadily. And I've got to say, it's a nice looking set of kit.
Yeah.
All their small and medium sized screens, plus the and it tees up with the Avidyne navigators.
Yeah.
That's you've got to say, for a Seneca, that looks good.
That's hugely impressive. And any costs, I can't remember the cost, but it's like 73 pence or something for that lot.
I believe your budget as estimate there may be somewhat out.
But it is very, very competitive and very low cost.
Paul Singupta says this has almost as many screens as Mike Patey's aeroplane. Clearly, Paul, you're a bit off the mark there, because Mike Patey's obviously has about 64 screens.
Did you see that stream that Mike Patey did with Garmin, where it was like rocket ship or cub or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, I like the outside, but I think I don't like his orange panel very much. Anyway.
Okay. Well, we've got 9 minutes left, guys. So we
hurry up then. Come on.
Flying Legends Air Show, moving to Sywell.
Wow.
It's going to be a challenge getting in and out. That's it. Anyway.
It's the roads around there are tight, but Sywell's probably the best after Duxford. Probably the best venue for that, I would think.
Yep.
So see how that goes. But great news that Legends has got another venue, and obviously, hopefully, GA will still be able to fly in. I did pose that question to the guys behind it, and we're still waiting for an answer. But they're hoping that might be possible. So fingers crossed.
Okay.
Remember
the Catalina at Loch Ness?
Yes.
There's been an update there. They've got a new engine being hoisted into position after having raised an amazing 30K on the crowdfunding campaign.
That's really good.
Yep.
Excellent. And finally,
Border Force.
Just a quick update on Border Force. I'll talk really quickly. Do you remember we showed that letter a little while ago that said from the 1st of January till June 2022, there was a blanket exemption for all the strips? Well, I popped down to the strip today where I am, and we had a meeting with Border Force, which was beginning our application for a customs agreement thing. So they came down, had a look around, filled in a few questions, asked a few questions, filled in a few forms, took a few coordinates, had a good poke around everywhere, made sure that we fit. Apparently, we're going to get a letter in about 3 months' time. Then we sign the letter and send it off again. And then, if all goes well, 3 months after that, we'll be sorted. We'll be able to fly to and from Channel Islands, France, and everything else with no problem at all. So that's good. So if your strip hasn't been contacted yet, maybe you want to get in touch with them or something. But so far, seems to be good news. So fingers crossed. Nice people.
Excellent.
Thank you very much. There you go.
Border Force.
Well done,
Good.
Border Force.
Right.
What have we got next?
So
I believe you have a quiz. Let's hope this
quiz. I'm going to do a quick jingle. This is what... There you go.
Perfect timing.
No time for that. Okay, so this is one of those higher or lower type things. Remember those?
Yes.
We're going to start off with a base thing. This is just the file picture. It's not this very picture, SR22 here. So there is an SR. We scoured the sites. And so our base card, if you like, is this SR22. This not that one, but one like it. $459,000 for a 2012 SR22. So people get involved. A Falcon 20, the one that's used by FRA and Cobham and
Cobham. I'm going to say that's lower. That's going to be cheaper than a Cirrus.
You're going to go cheaper than the Cirrus. Dave?
Well, because you put it in there, it normally would look like it's going to be higher, but I'm going to have to go with Ed, lower.
Well, there's no suckering you lot, is there? This is a 1980 version, and it's yours for $199,000.
And that per month to run.
I don't know how much it will cost to run, but there you go, bargain. There you go. What about this then?
It's Lancair for turbine.
Yeah.
So probably $900,000.
So you're going higher than the Falcon, are you?
Yes, higher than the Falcon.
Dave?
I'd say lower, just for the hell of it, really.
Just for the hell of it. There you go.
Oh,
$510,000. That's
Wow. Okay.
So there you go. That's more than the Cirrus.
Yeah.
Stop the clock. This is perfect. I'm going to say that's lower. No, yeah, just lower than the Lancair, but clearly way better.
Wow.
Okay, but that's a really nice looking example.
It is, and there was one that was a bit cheaper. So apologies for that. It's a little bit of a compressed thing. How did people in the comments get on, or were they not playing?
No, everyone was. I think everyone was generally on the money with that. Daniel Parker particularly decided the DC3 is priceless.
I think he's probably right. I think
out of all of those, that's got to be the most fun. I think.
Yeah, I think you're right. The DC3 is going to be the most fun.
That's it. Talking of fun, fancy hanger, wacky ways to fly.
Absolutely. Yes. Who was going to go first this time? I think I might.
So this was inspired by the BMW blender suit. So it's like, what cool stuff could you have in your fancy hanger that people walk in and go, oh my word, that's amazing. So I believe Dave has picked.
Can I go first?
No, I'm going to go first this time, just because I never go first, and I know that this time I'm not going to win, I'm afraid, because when people walk into the fancy hangar, they're not going to go, wow, that's amazing. Although I do. I think it is amazing. There you go. Look at that.
Are they bicycle wheels?
I think they're probably motorbike wheels more than bicycle wheels. But it's a Pegas one, French machine, paramotor sitting. I mean, I'm not really one for having my legs dangling over the side of my little seat. So I quite fancy this, sit down, stereo on, bit of flying.
So is that like a flying car, kind of?
It's like a flying car with a big. It's a cross between a flying car and a Cirrus because it's got like a permanent parachute on it.
Right.
And you can actually. I'm not sure it's road legal, but you could take it off road a little bit, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay, that's quite good. It's got headlights. It does look like it might be road legal.
It does, probably. Yeah. Well,
in places with very lax rules about giant blenders on the back,
like the desert. Yeah, I mean, think that BMW thing. I mean, no, I'm not going to go there. But if the bloke decided he needed a little scratch somewhere, you could easily sort of end up with no. Ugh.
That's it.
Anyway,
I've got to say the trouble is people walk in and they go, "Where's the rest of it?" And you go, "No, it's got a big parasail on it."
Yeah. Okay, so I'm not expecting to win this one, but feel free to vote for me.
It's quite a good choice. Who's next?
Dave.
Oh, right.
Dave's next. Yeah.
Well, I actually really like the idea of going wingsuit flying. Well, it's probably because whenever I go to, say, a cliff or a high place, I get this real urge to jump off. So I've so far managed to resist it. But if I'm ever going to do it, I'm going to do it with a wingsuit on. And the other thing that puts me off is that I did look up what the regulations are for wingsuits, and there are basically none. But there's a bit of advice out there, and the big advice is to get at least 200 parachute jumps behind you, because you don't actually land in a wingsuit. You pull a parachute and land under a parachute. So you need to be able to land a parachute, basically. But the idea of doing 200 parachute jumps quite appalls me, because I know my knees and ankles would probably just explode on the first landing. But the actual wingsuit flying, if I could find a way to land it without doing a parachute jump, that would be my choice.
You could get could you get a skateboard and kind of stick it to your chest and and fly at the ground and flare, you know?
But only one person has intended to make a landing from a wingsuit without having a parachute, and that was British stuntman Gary Connery. You remember he lined up all these cardboard boxes at Wickham Air Park and jumped out of a helicopter and crashed basically into the cardboard boxes.
There you go.
And survived.
Yeah.
And survived.
Yeah. Keir Williams says, I really want to see Dave wingsuiting in a future flyer feature. There we go.
Yeah, sure. All you need to do is find yourself an Amazon warehouse and you'll be fine.
There we go.
There you go.
Well,
so,
as is usual, I'm feeling fairly confident with my choice.
I think you're right.
There were many things I thought of, but I have to say, in terms of wacky ways to fly, I don't think you can beat the part fixed wing, part multi-jet Jetman project at the moment. Obviously, it started with by Eve Rossi. Eve's now got, I think it's at least 3 other guys now working on this and trained up to fly. And originally, you jumped out of a helicopter and flew it down near the ground, then deployed a parachute. But now they've got it so that you can take off from a fixed point, fly around. They're now working on coming back and landing. And if you haven't seen the video of them flying this a few months back in Dubai, the speed of this is just absolutely astonishing. It must just be so grossly overpowered, but the guy lifts off, kind of hovers away brilliantly, and then it's like watching something from a cartoon as it just vanishes at probably 15,000 feet per minute. It must be the most exciting and completely wacky way to fly ever. And I think if you hung that up on the wall in the hangar, people would just walk in and just go, wow.
Yeah.
That's quite a thing.
Even though I'm in competition, Ed, I'm going to vote for you on that one.
There we go. So Jeremy Winder says Ed wins. Peter McDonald says, I think Dave has already won. I think maybe there were a few people that were concerned about your feelings about standing on a hill, and it's like, I want to jump off.
I notice I'm not the only person who thinks like that.
That's it. Yes. Yeah. What else? Ross Pinder says Little Nelly. Yeah, good choice. What else? Dave White suggests an ornithopter and gives a YouTube link. I'm going to have to click that and check that out. Andy Kennedy says Pal V, flying motorbike and autogyro, guaranteed to make people say, "What on earth is that?"
Yeah, it's a good donor.
That's it. Leah Faye. Oh, that's quite a good suggestion. She says the flex wing with the rubber dinghy instead of the pod looked like fun. I think that was French.
Yeah.
So, Melanie Moxon suggests the that's probably the Richard Browning Iron Man jet suit. I quite like that, but it's one of those things that if you get an itch and you turn it to your face, you blowtorch your nose off. That's not so good, is it?
Excellent. What have we got next then?
Yes,
events 2 minutes past 2
things that have been cancelled.
Yeah.
Well,
or maybe not. Hopefully.
Well, no. There are no live events. One's actually happening. There's a few online events. There's the virtual EASA Rotorcraft and VTOL Symposium. That's on that's OS today. So we missed that already. So sorry about that. On the 16th coming up, there's the Light Aircraft Design Conference. And remember, you can get a discount if you're a member of the Flyer Club. There's the Aviators Ball, the Airability Aviators Ball on the 28th of November. The first real event I can find that looks like it might go ahead is the Vintage Saturday at Compton Abbas on the 5th of December. Which they have a Vintage Saturday the first Saturday of every month. That looks like it might be going ahead at the moment, but obviously, we will have to get closer to it.
Yeah.
So that's about it, really.
Excellent.
Well, in that case, Ed, have you got any more comments on there? You want to?
There's a couple of good ones. Adrian Norris says, "I'm voting for Ian just so that someone does."
Thank you.
David Whitcomb says, "Dave, cremation or burial?" It's like dustpan
and a mop. I expect.
Yeah, good old aviators gallows humour.
Yeah. Cool. Well, it
On
is
that note,
3 minutes past 8, so it's time to wrap up. Before I wrap up, I got the habitual one. If you're watching this on YouTube, just favor subscribe to our YouTube channel, leave a comment, all that kind of thing. If you're not a member of the Fly Club, then join. I mean, come on, £7.50 a quarter, can't be bad. Loads of great stuff. Head off if you're a member and all the rest of it. Head over to Airability and bid loads and loads of money for Airability, great charity, and then you can come and join us for this slightly mad half an hour. And CA, if you're watching this, can you have a word with the DFT or whoever it is and get them to sort out this stupid rash of purple rats around the Royal flights? Come on, sort it out. It's a safety thing. It's ridiculous. Thank you. Hopefully they'll, well, who knows? Anyway, great. That's it from me. Has anyone else got anything else?
no, I think we're all good. So
Thank you.
lots of nice comments in the comments. So thanks for coming along and being part of Fly live stream.
Absolutely. We look forward to it every week, and we're looking forward to it next week, and we'll hopefully see you all there. Thank you very much, everyone. Have a great evening, and enjoy your non-flying this weekend.
Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.